Okay, I want to kind of go through a short little discussion here on the serial port and how to access that with CodeWarrior in your development board. I guess there's been some confusion, and I'm going to record this in a fashion that later sessions can watch it. That there. All right, but I've got on the screen here, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. So those of you that watch this without the benefit of being able to download the file can kind of look at this here. But this is a program that I wrote to test the serial port right here. And right there, I'm just going to slowly go through here. Now the one thing to point out is I've got these two includes here at the beginning. That there, we need to do something with that later on as we go through our code with CodeWarrior. So, but the rest of this here right there is pretty much can be used as is there, and all I'm going to do is just simply print to the terminal just a test that there's just a there. I'm not going to be doing anything else with this here. Now we call a program here, we initialize a counter, and the goal here is not necessarily to go through and teach how to write this code, but simply to give you a set of functions that you can use to write to the serial port. So I've got the initialize timer. We have to initialize our Dragon board, and we need to have this to run it without CodeWarrior, because in order to run this we need to turn CodeWarrior off. And I hope my camera works. If not, we will work with around that there. Actually, I don't think it does work there. So so we have to call a program called terminal IO initialize. That is not in this code. It's actually in the program terminal IO subroutine. So, but this is the code that you will need. And for this session, I actually posted it up on as far as the week 6 download files. Later sessions may have to just simply copy this. So page 1 looks like this right here, and then we've got our initialize timer. I'll leave that set for a second there. Initializer phase lock loop, and then our little delay function there. So I'm going to leave that there because I'm going to have to open that there. Let me then go here, and I'm going to bring up my device manager. And the reason I bring up this device manager, just as we did before, we have to know what COM port we're going to be on. And I'm going to plug in my development board, and you should see that my COM port is on serial 3. And that's important. We'll need to know that for both CodeWarrior and Putty. Now the next thing, and I'm going to go ahead and close that, is that there's a program that you'll need to download, and it's called Putty right there, and you can see the download link there, or you just do a search for Putty and you'll find Putty right there, the Putty download link right there. And the file you want is this one right here, putty.exe, and there's no installation. You can just run that as it is right there. You could run the installer and then it'll install it, but all you need is that file, and I'll show that here in a little bit there. So my computer's beeping at me as I'm going through that there. So all right, let me go through here. Let's go ahead and bring up CodeWarrior right here, right there. I'm just going to bring it up, and we're going to create a new project. And again, we select, this is the chip we've got, the DG256. It's as part of the HCS12D family, and then we're going to use the serial monitor. We hit the next, and then we hit finish right there. And now there are several things we need to do. First off, let's go ahead and click on main, and we're going to go ahead and, in this case, I'm just going to select everything here, copy. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I don't need that anymore, and paste it there. Now if I try to compile this, I will get an error, compile. And this error says function call is ignored on line 31, and that's the printf right there. So we've got an error there at that point there, which is perfectly fine. what we need to do now is we need to add in those two files that we mentioned right here, terminal.io.h and standard.io.h right there. And the easiest way to do that is to go ahead and open those files, and you will find them on your C drive, on your program files, and find Freescale, and you just work your way down. It's under bin, and then it's not under bin, excuse me, it's under should be libraries. There are libraries, the HC12C, and you can do a search and find them. And we need to add the to include files. The first one we're going to do is we're going to add the standard IO, and we're just opening this file here, and then project, and we add that to the project, and then we can close it. That adds it to the project. There's other ways of doing it, but I just find this is about as easy as anyway. And then we're going to go through and we're going to find terminal.io.h. We open that. Again, we add that to the project. And then the third file, we actually have to add another file to it, and we have to add the source for, not the standard IO, because the standard IO, that source is in the library. We just have to add the .h, but we have to add this, and you won't find a source for standard IO here. But we'll find the terminal IO file there, and again we add that to it. Then we can, and I'm just closing this as we add these to it right there. We don't need to keep those open. Matter of fact, it's probably best you don't keep them open. The other thing that we need to do is we need to bring the standard C dot to the top right there, and then we can compile this at this point. Compile it, or make. Let's just go ahead and make it. All right, it's been made there. Now we've got a couple of things now we've still got to do here. First thing is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this to my other screen. Actually, and what I want to do here is I also want to open up, and I just want to show where this is at for week handouts. Right here, the Dragon board schematic right here, and what we're looking for is in the last page we've got this switch here, S7 right here, right there, we got that switch right here, and we need, for right now we need to put those in the load. That's the normal run position. Later on we're going to have to switch that over to the run and then reset that there. So we have that switch that we're going to be working with, but right now that should be in the load position, and at this point we can go ahead and tell this to that there, and we're going to tell it's on COM3 and cannot connect to hardware right there. And let me reset my board here. I've been playing with this board and you keep hearing it do things. Okay, let's try it again here. Fatal error. Why are we doing this? At there, and this is always fun when this happens. Fatal error. COM3. Oh, because I'm in the run position, I just told you about that switch there, and this is what happens when that switch is in the wrong position. Right there. So now, hopefully, we will load. Okay, we are loading right there. Now, in this particular case, what we're going to simply do is we're going to tell it to run, and nothing's going to happen. We're going to close this right here. Cancel. And we're going to close that. And the program Putty is in my downloads right here. And I'll just show you that I downloaded Putty. And I'm just going to open Putty right there. And we're just going to click on serial and then again COM3 right there. And we hit open. Now nothing's happening. At this point, oh, it's trying to work, but we need to flip these two switches back up into the run position and hit the reset button, and we should see this thing starting to work. Hopefully it is starting to work. Right there. let me reload Putty right here, right there, because I should have done that before I did that. Let's save that. We're going to call this default. Let's save, and then open. And as always, this is a little bit tricky, but we'll go ahead. And why is it not working here? Because my cable keeps coming out. Right there. Oh, I think I'm going to have to reload this since I powered it down. Let me close Putty, or put it back in the load position. I had it working, and as you can well tell, this is not exactly right there. It's in load. You know, I think I've got a bad cable, and that always happens when I'm trying to demonstrate. Let me change cables very quickly. I keep a spare for that reason. Right there. And as always, okay. Okay, now I'm going to flip up to the run position, tell it to run. Let's see if Putty closes, open, and we should be seeing that this thing is working now. And I can reset this, and it should start back at 0. So that is there. Let me just kind of highlight the steps that I had to go through. Is once I loaded the program, I told it to run, and then I switched it up to the run position. And again, that's done with these two switches right here. They need to be right there, and it's just continuously running right there. And I can close this, and I can go back to, and I can speed this thing up here. Delay, let's just say 1000. We'll speed it up to where right there. Recompile it. Just go through the process. And why did we project make? Okay, that there. You have to hit the make, not the compile. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip this back to the load position. Power down, power it back up. Tell it to, we've loaded. And then I flip it up to the run position. Close that, open Putty, and hit the reset button, and she should take off. And you can see it's running much faster there. That there. You have to hit the reset button once you open Putty up. That there. So hopefully that clears up how to run, use a serial I/O.